He's a 4-time NFL MVP, currently the head coach of the New York Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Yay!
Makes me think this whole intro of the Hinkle McCrinkleberry skit from Key and Peele. 2 pumps, that's okay. Not 3 though. What if so Brandon Cooks, who's done the same celebration for he's been in the league a long time. What if he just brings the arrow out?
Oh. And then what? Stabs with it, or is he just
just brings it out? Just brings it out. He's thinking about gets it out of the quiver.
Yeah,
he's thinking about loading that, but just kind of holds.
Fine.
The referee's going to be watching, like in the skit.
Is it the bow or is it the arrow?
Is he going to load it? Is he going to load it? Is he loading it?
What if he does pull it out?
Just a slight little drop, flag.
What if he's just holding both of them? If he's holding both of them, but not in the action of, I mean, that is,
sure.
How far, what are we, and did he get grandfathered in potentially because that is his thing, like
True.
the Lambeau Leap got grandfathered in to the jumping into the crowd. We'll have to see as the...
Alan Lazard got penalized for doing first down like this. First down.
Well, that's 2
He's done that for a while too.
That's 2, yeah.
That's 2 guns,
He's just
10
pointing.
shots.
He's pointing with his finger.
No, because they can hear him go bum 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 bum. Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang,
Oh, they
bang,
heard
bang,
it.
bang.
Yeah. Pow,
But if
pow.
he doesn't blow it out, right? It's not a gun then. It's just finger.
Well, he got
Yes.
the silencer on.
Yeah,
He had the silence. We could tell he had the
Finger
silencer
pound.
on.
Muzzle.
If he just puts those...
What about
thumbs down.
pointing the first down with your thumb up?
Nope. That's a gun.
Don't even think about it. You got to have good barrel...
Muzzle discipline. Muzzle
good barrel,
discipline.
muzzle discipline, please. You got to make sure whenever you're calling first down. What if you do? Look.
Yeah, if you shoot it down.
And that Michael Jackson meme would just push
Yeah.
that rifle.
Wait, what
down.
about CD? Because he's wipe his nose, and diseases are technically weapons as well, bioweapons now.
Okay.
That's a good
They didn't
point.
say bio.
What do you think, Aaron?
That's a good point.
No, not. We don't need to get
That was
into it.
outlawed at the
Spreading
Geneva Convention.
disease.
We don't need
Aaron's
that.
got something on this, brother.
There's no. All right. Okay, let's get to football. And also, good piece of information for anybody around the NFL right now. That is what they're looking for. Any weapon, it is a no-no. You might be able to sneak one by. I mean, people have been able to do it. We've seen them get into buildings and stuff with security. But I think the NFL is going to be studying what is a potential weapon and how it is moving forward. And good luck to everybody celebrating a win. Let's talk about you and how you're feeling right now. You look bummed out on that sideline, buddy. They got a shot of you. Okay, and the internet was doing its thing, obviously. The one that I saw said, when you come out of your ayahuasca trip and now you're a member of the New York Jets. And they kind of dunked on the New York Jets, and they also dunked on you. But that visual of you being miserable on the sideline, I think a lot of Jets saw it, and they're feeling the exact same way. How are we now on Tuesday going into week 5 of the NFL season, knowing there's a lot of football left, pal?
Well, I don't know if I'm the only one that knows there's a lot of football left, but there is a lot of football left. I've done the internet some service. I think we can all agree on that. I've definitely given. I'm sure Zito can pull up, an array of memes. But started with the night in Arizona. That was, the one that I still get all the time. When my helmet, was way up here, my 10 strips here. I'm sure Zito can dial that in real quick. But I'm feeling a little banged up. Took some shots, knees a little swollen, but just kind of wear and tear week 4. I'm just, I'm hoping that we can all have a little perspective here. That seemed like an outlier game. Obviously, Denver has a real solid defense, but the weather and their defense and our lack of execution made us, pretty bad combination there to only put up 9 points.
Okay, so let's talk about the weather a little bit. You said the weather sucked, so did I. It was a good little joke in the moment, got a good pop. They talked about it being torrential downpour. With the cameras these days, though, it's tough.
Well, it's supposed to be 60 and cloudy. That's what the weather report was all week.
And it was bad, right? I mean, you both look like crowd. I mean, that was both offenses. That was a tough game to watch. But can you explain the weather? Can you explain the weather a little bit more for us?
It's classic New York weather. In Green Bay we had the cold, and you just start to embrace it. You got a bunch of kids from all over the country, living in Green Bay or some of the surrounding towns, Hobart, where what is their slogan in Hobart? Where greatness is growing. I think what it is.
Hell yeah.
That's where I lived the last few years. But a lot of kids from all over the country that you come together and you embrace, guys from Centerville, Ohio. You just embrace the weather there, and I think we need to do the same thing when it's crappy weather like that. We got to embrace that and make it our own advantage, because we know, there's so many games you play in the cold in Green Bay. Teams start to quit there in the third quarter or fourth quarter. They just like, man, I'm sick of this cold. I'm sick of this snow, this chilly wind or whatever it is. And it became a big advantage for us where we could put teams away early in some of those bad weather situations. So we got to embrace that. It is kind of jet weather. Last year I went to a number of games and saw that was, 4 or 5 games like that where it's misty, it's windy, it's damp and cold and damn near miserable, and you just got to embrace that and push through it. And I just don't think mentally all of us were able to really embrace the conditions and play a little better.
Yeah, we used to talk about you wearing the long johns. Anytime the long johns came out for Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay, normally
the Dickie.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, whatever. Dickie, long john, whatever you want to call. You know what we're talking about. The
waffle,
the hunting waffle cloth is showing underneath the jersey. It's like, okay, Aaron thinks it's very cold today, but this means Packers in a good spot. That is advantage for you. And I think one of our first Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays, whenever the weather started to turn, you're like, it's all in your mindset. Like for us, our belief is Lambeau, the frozen tundra, is a weapon for us. Like other people don't want to play in that, or they think it's like a movie. For us, it's an advantage. Whenever we play in it, we want to make it that way. Hearing you say the same thing about the Jets and MetLife is pretty cool, actually. I didn't even think about kind of tying those two together. But just shitty, dreary, rainy, windy, chilly is, hey, that should be our advantage, not everybody else's. I love that mindset. Go ahead, AJ.
So with your whole cadence situation, have you and Saleh figured all this out? Or are you going to go back to, you're going to say ready, set, hike now? Or are you going to continue to do what you have been doing, throughout your 20 years?
Yeah, great question, AJ. Great question.
We need to know.
We do need to know. Dahn, set, hunt.
Here we go.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
good
sweet.
Ooh.
Yeah, you never know. I think the question may have been posed in a way that might not have been exactly what was said. But listen, I've used my cadence my entire career. I didn't make it up. I stole it from the legend who was in front of me. I changed the numbers around a little bit maybe, but added some additional types of cadences to it and continued to. Even when Matt came, we added some cans and dummy Oscars and real Oscars and different things and quick counts. And so you're always adjusting that. Everything that we do in the game, we do in practice. And that's why I said after the game that it felt like, I used the word outlier, maybe a better word is anomaly. It was one of those games where, we just jumped off sides 5 times. And before that, we had 1 false start in 3 games. And nobody complained about the cadence. One of those was at home, but 2 of those are on the road. And we're using various silent cadences. We don't just go on one every time. It's been an advantage for us. We threw a touchdown week 1 on an offsides on a silent count. So it needs to be a weapon. In order for it to be a weapon, we got to stay on sides. So I think in those situations, and I don't know why Robert would get any, or even Hackett. Nobody deserves any crap for that except for the players. We gotta make sure that we're staying on sides. And I don't think it's an issue. It hasn't been an issue in practice. It's again another talking point for outside the building. Obviously, it hurt us in some situations, so we got to be better. But cadence is the cadence. It's the cadence.
You and Saleh are good though. Big hugs. We did big hug, because we saw on the sideline fist bump, not a hug that one time. And then immediately, I guess like 6 days later, we saw in one Jets drive, you guys hugging at the top of the ramp. That probably could have been a piece of content that could have been put out a little bit earlier, maybe to dispel the entire hug conversation. We're not making their content over there or marketing that whole thing, but the whole cadence thing, I assume you two had to talk about that because it got loud. It got very loud. People just continue to point this happened immediately after the game where the push to the chest thing happened.
This is part of the learning process. You realize, and there's various different hugs if you kept showing that clip. There's guys, there's Rudy. Rudy's a close hugger. There's Tony. Tony likes to say something before he hugs. Cap, you just shake his hand. Don't hug him. He's not a big hugger. Quincy, he's a big hugger. Loves hugging. So you learn the the relationships with each person. And as you saw, I'm a fast learner. So I, pushed Salah on the field, realized after the game, he's a hugger, but he's a tapper. He gives you the 3 taps. That's enough. And we all know people like that. So it's you live and you learn, and you got to adjust on the fly. And I feel like I did a pretty good job at that. When I thought he was a 2-hand push guy, like push. Then I realized no, he actually wants a hug, but not a long hug and not a close hug. Okay, it's hips out or to the side, and it's 3 taps and then off. Where Rudy, linebacker coach, he wants to kind of hold you in there. TD, he wants to say something, look you in the eye, and like say something to you and maybe whisper something in your ear. So you got to learn all these different types of things. Just like with the handshakes, all these kids have their own handshakes. And I got a couple of some of the guys, but you got to learn the hugging styles too. It's all different.
Okay, so we learned the hugging style. We learned that potentially media, and I assume Coach Salah is learning this with you being on the team. Everything that you do is going to be talked about. I mean, let alone in New York, but everything you do is going to be talked about. I assume Coach Salah expected that, understood that, but it's at a different level. We've got a chance to experience it the last 5 years. We appreciate you for these Tuesdays.
Hell yeah.
We appreciate these Tuesdays, obviously. 2 times MVP in those entire thing. Nonetheless, maybe another one this year, we shall see. But you and Coach Salah's relationship, every day learning more and more about each other and understanding how it could be perceived outside the building, or do you guys not even let that even affect how you interact with each other, the shit that's happening outside?
We have some stuff planned at some point, the real maybe demonstrative embrace. But again, I got to know he's a 3-tapper guy.
Okay.
So I have 3 taps to get in whatever type of affection I need to show him. No, you know what? There's always going to be messaging and narratives out there, and you have 2 choices. You can ride the wave, really a roller coaster, or you can say, fuck it, I don't care. And I'm the latter. I don't get into what the conversation is going on outside the building around myself, the relationships that I have. The most important ones are looking a guy in the eye in the locker room or in a meeting room and knowing, he's got your back, you got his back. Rob and I have a great relationship. We have since day one when I got here. We have text message conversations, threads that we're in, conversations about a number of different topics outside of football. We got a good friendship. Yeah, he was interested in Egypt for sure.
What did you say? You said I had to go over that. So we never talked to you about that. I have a question. That was on, I think, June 12th, 2024, right?
Yeah.
6/12/24. Was that on purpose in this whole thing?
No, the 6/20/24 was on purpose, for sure. That was the solstice and the Sphinx solstice bucket list that I wanted to do.
Because we kind of assumed there was the date mattered, because if not, it was just, hey, rich guy, move your trip to Egypt. Okay, hey, Ray, that was kind of a conversation in this entire thing, and then start thinking about it, it's like there has to be something. There has to be a bigger reason in it all. It lived up to the hype, though. I think is what you said, right?
It did, and those were OTAs. Remember, those are OTAs.
Those matter
big time.
They do matter. They matter for off season, but off season is off season. You put that little box, sit off to the side. Nobody talks about it, thinks about it. Again, there's a lot of practice between off season and training camp and the start of the season. And if we're still talking about that, then, so be it. Carry on.
Hey,
I'm just going to think about that. And like Russell Brand said in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I'm just going to keep on living my life.
That's right. Hey, keep doing it. And you weren't at any of those other OTAs, right? Were you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a few of them, I think. I made a few of them. We weren't working on the cadence, though. That's the problem.
All right, let's move. Let's keep living your life, and you're going overseas. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Aaron, obviously later on in your career.
Hi, Connor.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. You're looking good. Hey. Nice hats. Cherish the little things. Looking at, this London
It's
trip.
a Danish concept.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that Huega House?
Denmark. Yeah. Denmark, yes.
Yeah, Danish.
Which is Danish.
Obviously, I understood that.
Viking, perhaps, you could say. Speaking of
I actually call it Danemark because...
because the Danes?
Because the amount of Danes that are rolling around up there. And they're all Hugans.
Just like you call Spencer Havner Spanx.
Okay.
Shout out Spence.
Okay.
It's not
Shout out
Casually
Spank.
spanked.
It's not plural. It's just spank.
Yeah, Spanx is
Oh, just
close.
Spanx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
If there were multiple.
By the
Spencers-
way, he felt like you kind of shined him at AJ's birthday that one time. So
Me?
I just want to get that out there too. All right, sorry, BC. Carry on.
Nah, Spank's a good guy.
We're cool. With
We
Spank.
love Spank.
We're big spank guys.
Spank.
Spank, 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 spank.
Now, if there was two Spencers and we liked them both, we'd say Spanks, 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 and it would be positive.
Would you say you're more of a Spank guy or like a real old school, tough Pittsburgh, Shippensburg type of guy like John Kuhn?
Cool. You know how we're playing. You know the game we're playing around here. Go ahead, Con.
Yeah, that was an easy Coon answer. That's not even close to the spank, but still.
Coon will work on those ports.
Oh, yeah.
Coon go work on
We
those.
might need him to.
Gotta get his
Might
money.
need him to hit the ports actually very soon here, or just maybe go shake that guy's hand.
Shake that guy's hand.
That
Somebody needs to go shake that guy's hand.
Quick.
Fast.
I'll cripple you.
I mean, what are we going to do here
I don't
without
know, I
the
don't
ports? Forget about that, though. I mean,
Are they even going to be able to get back?
Yeah, speaking of, you might have
Good
trouble.
sidetrack here. Really good sidetrack.
This is your fault. Spanks, you got into this entire thing. Now we're talking about ports, but it is an international conversation. Go
And
ahead.
when you're talking about
and John Kuhn. And John
True.
Kuhn.
Dog. Great radio
Legend.
shows.
Yeah. Legend.
Shippenberg.
London's had a lot of trouble with our ports too, going all the way back to the 1770s.
Yeah, taxation. They went in there and they threw that tea.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a party, they said, but more so, it was like it was a dance on grave.
I mean, they wanted better wages. That's kind of the similar situation, really. History repeating itself, if you will.
Taxation without representation. I don't think so. Get this tea the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Well, there was more to that than just that, but let's carry on.
Well, certainly there was other factors in there, but that was the one. That
Yep.
was the
The
that was,
straw.
right? I mean, I haven't read enough books. I don't think about it. Watch a lot of documentaries. That was the one that really pissed them off.
Yeah, with the Boston Massacre too. Can't forget about that.
That's your hometown. Anyways, let's get back to international conversation, please, can we?
Yeah, Aaron. Looking forward to London here coming up. Obviously, later on in your career here, do you have any thoughts like, hey, this might be my last international game? This is something where you kind of look around, pretty cool being in London, or is it more so like, thank God I don't have to travel overseas to play football anymore because God, this trip is a pain in the ass, and I don't want to do high knees on the plane like Russell Wilson.
Whoa,
True. Do have to do that.
you do have to do that.
He will. He does.
You should.
Yeah, I will. I'll be doing all that for sure. I do think this could be it for London. You never know. Green Bay and Philly went to Brazil. There's usually a game in Mexico City. Not sure if there is one this year. Germany has hosted a game. It'd be fun to play in Spain or France. I think that'd be another option. I think at some point for the NFL to look at. I remember years and years ago we talked about doing one international week. So every team, 16 games in 16 places outside the country, which would be pretty cool. And then a bye week after that, and the league kind of submarine that with the 17th game possibly. But no, I enjoyed the experience last year. We had a ton of Packer fans, or 2 years ago we had a ton of Packer fans there, obviously, because they're everywhere. And it felt like it was like 70-30 Packers. Not sure what the mix is going to be. Obviously, Minnesota's got a great fan base too. And there's just fans who are just there wearing different jerseys. Some of them probably don't even know what the hell's going on half the time. But there's great sports fans over in Europe. We had a good time last time. We got to go to a soccer game at Wembley. The U.S. women's national team was playing the British national team. And so that was a lot of fun. Alan and I went over there and had a good time. Got to sit in a box with all the people from Ted Lasso, which was cool. So it's fun. It's a good trip. There's always thoughts on when you should go over, and they're always looking at the analytics. What the record is. People that go on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. Matt wanted to go over on Thursday a couple years ago, so we went over like 5:00 on a Central Time, and that was kind of weird on your body because then you're trying to stay up all day Friday and you're exhausted. But it's just you know what to expect. We're going over on Thursday again. We're leaving. It's a shorter flight than Green Bay to London. It'll be New Jersey to London. So I think it's like 6-hour flight. But you got to get your body somewhat on the clock out there, and and try and find time to rest and get on some sort of a normal schedule. Luckily for us, a couple years ago, we went right into a game the next week. It was so early. I think it was week 5 for us. We didn't do a bye week this week. We don't have a bye week, but we have a Monday night game, so we get extra day of rest, which will be nice.
Are you going to have a spot of tea when you get over there?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ted Lasso in that I'm not a huge fan of tea in general. Now there's certain types of tea, certain types of teas, as you've referred to it, that I do enjoy.
Ayahuasca.
You can do that.
But if I'm going to drink a hot beverage, I'd rather drink coffee.
They got good coffee over there too.
Hot chocolate?
We were just in Ireland, and I think no hot chocolate. You don't like hot chocolate? Too much sugar. You think he's taking in that much sugar, you idiot?
God, I'm so dumb sometimes.
I mean, Hugo, dude, please.
Yeah, what the, cherish the little things like little marshmallows and hot chocolate.
Oh, so good. We're getting into that season right now. If they can get in.
True.
Well, I don't even know if we're going to be able to have hot chocolate.
Might have to stock up now. 4 months of groceries.
Marshmallows are homegrown.
Marshmallows are American. Yeah, you're right. We're definitely.
Yeah, they grow on trees.
Putting that shit in there.
Is that a fact?
Huh?
I assume.
Pizza.
What about that, Tom?
Pizza's from Italy.
Yeah,
Chinese
Pizza
food.
Hut. No.
Chinese food.
No,
Chinese
Pizza
food,
Hut
yeah.
created pizza.
Yeah.
There you go, Tone. You're on the
French fries. Yep. Crepes.
Tiny little pancakes.
Yeah.
Love them. I'm gonna have a bunch of those in Berkeley, huh? Is that all you guys serve over there in Berkeley? Just
Oh
crepes?
man, I'm so glad you brought this up, man. I'm so excited for you guys going out there. Like, I didn't know that there was only 5 teams that hadn't, or 5 now or 5 before this that hadn't hosted. 5 cities.
I don't know that reason.
I think Reese said that on the program when they announced it. It's awesome. It's great for Berkeley. There's a great fan base there. It's a really interesting city. You and I have already sidebarred on some stuff, but if I can give you any recommendation, there's 2 little Berkeley staples. One's called Top Dog, it's hot dogs, and the other is called La Burrita, which is right next door, which is a Mexican spot that I went to a bunch when I was out there. I heard that Blondie's Pizza is no longer there. I don't know if that's true or not, if that was a lie, but yeah, it's a great little city, great college town. You were saying, do you think there's going to be fans there? I think for sure. It's game days in town.
6 a.m. That game starts 7:15 local, I think.
No. Yeah. Sorry, local. Yeah.
It's a late one. Yeah.
Yeah, 7:15.
Are you sticking around for the game, or you just get on
definitely.
that DJ?
Definitely sticking around. Definitely sticking around for that game. Certainly. It will be. Cam Moore's coming to Dahn.
It's gonna be awesome.
Cal fans are going to be bananas. But 10:15 Eastern kickoff for that game. That's the latest, I think, game day I've been a part of. So if the fans are showing up at 6 a.m., and then that thing, I'll be very impressed. I'll be certainly impressed. I know that the Cal fans were very loud on the internet about getting Cal there, and before Cal getting college game day, there's six schools altogether. Now there's 5.
Now there's 5.
Yeah, Illinois, Maryland, Rutgers, Syracuse, and Virginia. Rutgers, it feels like
the year
is only a matter of
This
time.
could be the year. This could be the year. Well, I don't know if they got you where they got you. After your appearance, you're gonna get a chance to go lay down. But hopefully, they got you at the DoubleTree. If they do, make sure you have a couple of those cookies and take a walk around that little marina there, where there was a famous, infamous case that there was Scott Peterson allegedly dumped the body of his pregnant wife there in the Berkeley marina.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
That
I'll
happened.
check that out. I'll make sure I fucking put it on the schedule. I'll make sure.
But there's a documentary that's out. It's pretty good. I think it's on Netflix about the whole thing. I can't believe you haven't seen it. I'm sure BC's seen it.
I don't know if I've
seen things.
Is that the?
It is good.
No, he
I have
hasn't.
seen it.
He
There's a
hasn't
lot
seen
of
it. He hasn't
murderers
seen
out there in California. You know, the
Allegedly.
the Midwestern whites get a lot of heat because of the creation of serial killers, because there is a lot of them.
Yep.
California has a lot of documentaries about murders as well that just pop up out of nowhere.
Zodiac.
Capita, yeah.
Zodiac, the guy that was that bum down in L.A. What's his name? Creeper.
Who?
Jeepers Creepers.
No, the guy. He was
The Night Stalker?
Night Stalker.
There it is.
Zodiac killer.
Richard Ramirez.
Hotel.
That's where that guy was at. The
Yes,
Night Stalker was staying at.
yeah.
And then there was this one up in Tahoe. The guy was staying in Tahoe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was stock.
The Donner Party.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They ate each other.
All right, so
I haven't seen that new one. I'm watching the McMahon
Hate each
one.
other.
yeah, Vince
Yeah, they
McMahon's
got
got a
stuck.
six piece
And it's supposed to.
documentary on Netflix that is wrestling good, great for the rest. It's a lot of access in there. You watching docs, reading books? What are we doing? We're all ball right now.
Oh, a lot of ball and a little bit of books. I got a couple of books I'm going to take with me out there. I just got done reading the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success I talked about last week, which is a great one.
Chopra?
Deepak.
Kind of going back through that one. It's a good one to just kind of read a chapter every single day. But I'm kind of in the mode where I'm reading some books I've already read. Some of the ones on the book club, but I definitely got through a few, in the early part of this year that I'll have to break out once we officially start the book club back up, which I guess has not happened today. But maybe next week I'll bring one out.
Okay, breaking. The Aaron Rodgers Book Club will make its 3rd season return next Tuesday after a massive game in London, England. Woo! It's good news. Let's get back to London, England here. D-Butch got a question for you here.
Yeah, I know it's only Tuesday. Haven't probably fully dived in and seen all the clips of the Minnesota Vikings defense. One of my favorite defenses so far. Still one of the, 2 undefeated teams now?
Yes. Yep.
So Brian Flores posed a lot of problems for offense. What have you seen so far on that tape, with the Vikings defense?
Well, they do a lot of different things. They throw a lot of different things at you. The front's really good. Harrison Phillips, I played against him, is a stout player in the middle. They got some young edge rushers, young guys in the back end other than Harrison and Gilmore. But they play really well together. They throw a lot of different things at you. Obviously, they have empty pressure. The thing that they do really well is that they are able to call into pressures and call out of pressures. So they have an awareness where if it looks like you're checking out of a pressure, they're going to check out. And then sometimes they can check into pressures as well. So, it's a smart defense. B-Flow's obviously got them on the same page because they do a lot of different things. It's master disguise. I've known that about Harrison forever. I love Harrison. Phenomenal golfer, by the way. He had a great year at Tahoe.
Very
Want to shout out H. Smith. He's also picked me off twice, I believe, in his career, which he made sure he told me, reminded me about when we played together out there. But Harrison's a great dude, still playing at a high level, still a master of disguise. And Murphy's playing real well on the outside too. Shaq Griffin played, a lot known about him since he played in Seattle. Him and his brother actually combined on a sack on me, I believe, in a playoff game, which was a cool moment for them, a crappy one for me. But
hey, can you sign this poster we both have?
Probably a sick poster.
It's like the dunk posters, had as a kid. You always want those posters with somebody just jamming on somebody, Dominique Wilkins or, MJ jamming on somebody. It's like me getting sacked by
but that's a compliment.
Cool moment for them.
And
cool
anybody that gets a pick on you, it's a big deal. It's like because you never turn the ball over. So you're talking about Harrison getting 2 on you. The reason why he's reminding you is because he's like, hey, just a heads up, you've only thrown 30 interceptions your entire career. I got 2 of them.
Yeah, it's like 5% of them.
Yeah, see you next season, pal. Can't wait for it. There's a lot of news coming out about Davante Adams. Don't say anything. Don't be tampering with shit, Aaron. Don't you be tampering with anything. Seems to be heating up the internet right now.
Oh, yeah.
As we speak, heating up about the Davante Adams Las Vegas Raiders situation. Antonio Pierce won't put you in a spot. You were talking about playing golf with him out of Tahoe when he said, can't wait to play with him again. Mike Greenberg said he'll do a show shirtless, I think is what he said, if Davante Adams doesn't end up as a New York Jet. And
Does not?
Yeah, that's what he said. By Halloween. Obviously, that's right before the trade deadline. That's what Mike Greenberg said before the season even started. He said, I'll go naked. I'll do it. He's that matter of fact about it. He said he would go dong out, I think, on get up.
Sack and all.
If it didn't happen.
On the table.
I think that is what he said. So
On the table.
yeah, we shall see. Obviously, Brian Flores' defense is a phenomenal one. Excited to see you joust with him. Do you and the D coordinator have moments every game? Only some D coordinators? Is there any of those where it's like we're currently jousting right now?
I mean, there's been some words exchanged over the years for sure. I remember Gunther Cunningham and Ron. What's his name? He's he was in Detroit forever. He would flip me off all the time. Him and I would go back and forth. But
Marinelli.
Rod Marinelli, yeah. I said Ron. Sorry, Rod. Jesus.
Jeez, yeah. He just went like this. He literally just did it from wherever he's at, walking very fast.
But that happens. But a lot of the coordinators are up in the box. They're in the box now. So there's not a lot of coordinators on the field. Depends on defensive head coach, offensive head coach. But every now and then there's some things said, but it's usually like a Wink Martindale would always do things to me, or we played him last year in the preseason, and he says in blitz cover 3 every snap and blitz 0 like 4 of the 6 snaps I was in. I might have flashed him the bird at one point, but
of course.
But I love Wink. You go against these guys for so long, there's mutual respect. With Vance last week, I've gone against Vance a number of times. He's a phenomenal coach, got a really good scheme. And I didn't get a chance to see him after the game, but there's a mutual level of respect. I always enjoy going against Spags. He's always, will come up to me and say something to me. And he's, been one of the best, if not the best, for a long, long time. And so there's mutual level of respect. Every now and then there's, some laugh or smile or something. I remember we played against Tampa forever ago when Raheem Morris was the head coach. He was calling defense, and I had both my feet were banged up for a reason. I got turf toe on my right foot and something else on my left, and COVID. I was on the injury report that week, and I ran out of bounds for a first down. And he said, "I thought you were supposed to be hurt. What are you out here running for?" There's comments like that happen every now and then. But I have a lot of respect for Coach Flores and what he's accomplished in the league and what he does with that defense.
That team's a wagon, brother.
Yep.
The Vikings are an absolute wagon. It is. I don't want to say come out of nowhere because of the conversations in the offseason, but kind of come out of nowhere. It's been a lot of fun to watch. On that note, Tone has a question for you, Aaron.
Yep, Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Good to see you.
Tone, you too.
They are running the ball with old number 3-3 in purple now. Are you excited to see your old running mate, Aaron Jones, over there? And we saw that you got to see that sweet, sweet boy, Zach Wilson, this last weekend. How's he doing, too?
Well, Zach's engaged. He's doing well.
Sweet boy.
He's turning into a sweet man.
Yeah, way to go. Those days of running wild are over now. They've tamed the beast.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be settled down. Maybe have some kids here pretty soon. But
wow,
Aaron Jones, Jonesy's one of my all-time favorite teammates, and there's nobody like Jonesy. I mean, he is a special, special human. One of the best guys to be in the locker room with. Best guys to have next to you. In the shotgun, smart as can be, tough, physical, slasher, great hands, but just always positive attitude. I mean, Aaron Jones is, I say this about a few guys. I said this about Kuhn, once I remember, but he epitomized, I thought, what it meant to be a Packer. Great in the community, phenomenal teammate, a lot of pride in his performance, pride in wearing those colors. And he's going to be a Packer Hall of Famer when he's done playing. But, there might have been some thought that didn't have a whole lot left in the tank. And I think as we've seen through 4 weeks, that's incorrect.
Yeah, revenge games too.
And of all people in the league, there's certain guys you really pull for. Some guys you don't even play with, but you just respect their game. You're like, man, I like that guy. I want him to do well every week. I play with Aaron Jones, and I pull for Aaron Jones. Every single time he laces up, he is a fucking great human being and a great player and a guy you just always felt good about when he was on the field. I remember he told the story when I guess he wrote a piece, I think, for
Players Tribune.
Players Tribune, yeah, and mentioned one time when I said, I want 33 on the field. And it was just because the way he went about his business. He was so professional, always prepared, and the way he practiced too. And there's a few guys over the years that practiced the right way. I always say Ryan Grant practiced the right way. I mean, that guy was a stud. Finish runners. Jordy Nelson practiced the right way. Devontae Adams practiced the right way. Aaron Jones practiced the right way. I mean, there's a way of doing it where you finish the right way, you do everything right, you take pride in your performance every single time you lace it up. And I could go on and on because I love the guy so much, but he is a special, special human being. And I saw a little bit that Kevin said after the game about guys that change culture, and he is one of those guys. And you would think, oh, there's got to be a ton of guys in the locker room that are like this. It's not true. There's a few of these glue guys, and when your glue guys are your best players, that's when you get a chance to do something special. So I'm not surprised. Obviously, Sam's playing great, and I love Sam, and I give him so much credit, and I'm really happy for him. He's a great dude. He comes to my event out in SoCal every year, our flag football thing, and he's playing great. But when you have your glue guys, your Aaron Joneses, are your best players as well, and they're also your best people, you can do something special.
Hell yeah, Aaron Jones. That'd feel good. I don't know if Aaron Jones is going to see that when, but if he watches that and hears a former teammate of his who happens to be a Mount Rushmore player in the league speak that glowingly, That had to feel. Hey, Aaron, you did good.
Hell yeah.
You done good, pal, and only going to continue to do so. Kevin O'Connell over there, seemingly.
Well, listen, let me just finish on the Aaron Jones thing.
Okay, more.
This isn't a wild take. Anybody that's been around Jonesy, that's played with him, that coached him, would say the exact same thing. And it's no surprise. I remember the story about Flea finding his locket that he lost on the field that had his father's ashes in it, right?
Yep.
The reason that he did that, I mean, Flea's a great dude, no doubt. But Jonesy is such a special human. Like anybody would want to do that for Aaron. Anybody's played with him, coached him, would say the exact same thing about him. He's a special guy.
Yeah, man. Good for you, Aaron Jones.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Go ahead, AJ. That was awesome.
Hey, you mentioned Sam Darnold. What do you think it is? There's some quarterbacks around the league. Obviously, they get to the second, third stop, and they seem to flourish. They seem to kind of do well in whatever the system may be, the players around them. Like, what do you make of that? Why does it not work sometimes? Obviously, work somewhere else later on in your career.
Well, most of us are system quarterbacks, and that's gotten a knock as being like, you're only a system. Some of us can be the system. You can bring a certain type of way of playing, and you add in a cadence or play fake ability or different things that evolves the system. But there's guys that can plug and play. I mean, you got the guys listed there. Andy Dalton played in a lot of systems. He's a plug and play guy. Joe Flacco, plug and play guy. Kirk Cousins, plug and play. I mean, all those guys, yeah, I mean, I could say about all those guys. I mean, but they all, see, Baker was a top pick. Sam was a top pick. Andy was a top pick. Flacco was first rounder. Kirk, I think, was second rounder. Gardner was a later pick, I believe. Not sure about Derek, but a lot of those guys, had some struggles early in their career, and it takes a while. The development of the quarterback, that's why you got to give so much credit to what Jaden's doing in Washington, because that's the outlier. I mean, that's the anomaly. Most of us, it takes a little time for us to figure it out, and especially with the way quarterbacks are being coached in college, and they're not calling plays, they're not audibling, they're not huddling up, they're not taking a snap under center. The NFL is a different game. The NFL is playing under center, especially with the way defenses are playing now with all this two shell. You got to play under center. You got to run the football. You got to have play action, as you guys said that stat about Jared Goff, and all the yards that came off of the action game. There's a learning curve, and that's why what Jaden's doing in Washington is an outlier, and he deserves a lot of credit, as does Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn for obviously the environment he's created there. But most of us, we take a little time to get into it. We need some time to learn the game, to grow, to not have overreactions about our play.
Whoa.
Think if Peyton Manning had been playing in 2024 his rookie year.
Gosh,
I mean, think about the overreactions that would have happened with that.
We wouldn't.
That's why I think you got to give a guy like Bryce Young some time. Like whether it's in that system or another system, like it takes time, and you get place this mantle on you to be this savior for a team that's usually not very good if they're picking high. It's usually not one player away. And sometimes in the offseason, the GM can come in and bring in the right pieces and also pick a guy, or you have draft capital, as we saw with Chicago, where you have a number of different pieces you can bring in to put around the first pick to put them in a position to be as successful as possible. But it's the Jaden Daniels are the outliers. And most of us, we need to take some time. And whether we have the time to do that as a backup, that's the best way. That just doesn't happen very much or at all in the NFL anymore. So now you got to figure it out on the run. You have to have an owner who's patient and trusts the process. And you have to have a team that continues to build and get better and not crush your confidence, as some of those guys dealt with early in their career. So I salute all those guys for the way they're playing. I know some of them well. I don't know others as well, but they're all guys who are exemplify patience with the quarterback position, which there's very little of in our game now.
Okay, there's so many different topical conversations we could have off of your answer right there. Thank you for giving that answer and the depth that you did. Obviously, what you say about the matter matters a lot more than what us or anybody else that is kind of speaking about it. Peyton Manning was on the program, I think, maybe like 3 weeks ago. And he talked about that rookie year, about how he felt like he needed it, though. Needed to play, throw him in the deep end. Obviously, he still has the interception record for rookies. He thinks he'll have it forever, even though they've added a game. But he talked about, like, those game reps really mattered to him. Then you're the complete opposite. What is that, like 3.5 years? You wait, and then you get dropped in.
3 years.
3 years, and then you get dropped in, and you're in there. You said that you think being a backup and, like, kind of waiting is perfect for you. Is it situations or situational? Like, because what's happening in New England right now, in your division, obviously, so you know that, obviously. But that's a massive talking point, what's happening with Drake May and Jacoby Brissett. And it's like the plan we thought going in was like, Drake May is going to back up. He's going to watch quarterback. He's going to see how it goes. Then inevitably they'll put him in. Some Patriots fans, not all of them, are like, if not now, when are we going to do it? Coach Mayo came out and said, Jacoby's our starter 100%. We're moving forward. So allegedly, we would assume that means he's sticking with the plan. But you watching that situation develop or other quarterback situations develop, I assume you do have some sort of opinions on how your situation ended up with Brett Favre being the starting quarterback for like 3 years and then you getting dropped in and kind of not missing a beat. Jordan Love, a couple years behind you, then getting dropped in, not missing a beat. Is it just, it depends on the player, or if you can't, like Peyton was never going to be a backup quarterback. The human he is, the situation he was going in, could he have benefited from it? How do you feel about that? And I know I just said a lot, but there's a lot happening in this vein of conversation right now in sports.
Yeah, I mean, I would ask, that's a question for Peyton, whether he would have benefited or not. But I think Ryan Leaf would have benefited from it, and he was the second pick that year. It's just different situations. And again, I go back to the patience, with Coach Mayo out there, just having the patience to let his kid develop and to let Drake develop. Jacoby's a proven starter in the league for a long time. My situation is very rare, and I would say the same thing about Jordan. Where I got to, and he got to sit behind future Hall of Famers. Who can show what it looks like, can allow you to learn without being thrown in there or have your confidence shredded at all, to work on your game, to learn defenses, to learn the offense, become a master of the offense. And then in spots, you get a chance to play, the preseason, an injury here and there, and you start to gain a little confidence with that. And then when you hit the ground running, you got to go. And that's why last year was a make or break year, just like it was 2008 for me, right, wrong, or indifferent. I think I showed, that I could be a long-term starter. Jordan obviously showed he could be a long-term starter, and away they went. That's just not the game plan anymore because it's such a reactionary league from owners and fans where it's like, oh, we lost. Oh, put the other guy in. Oh, we lost. Oh, fire this guy. Get rid of this guy. That's not a great way to operate. If you're an owner, you hire the guys you think can get the job done, and you trust them. And you're a GM, and you hire a head coach. You trust them to get the job done. And you set the plan, and if the plan is good enough day one, it should be good enough after week 4, should be good enough after week 10, should be good enough in year 2, and you're like, is this the time we got to play this guy? When he's ready, when the system is ready, when the guys around him are ready, then play him. And sometimes that's in year 1, or sometimes you don't have a choice. You don't know what you're going to get. I don't know if they knew what they're going to get from Jaden Daniels. We saw him in the joint practices. I thought he looked good. I liked his film from college because I watched 2 of the kids they had. I thought he was obviously the intangibles, scrambling ability, incredible. Could the read option stuff work in the league? I don't know. You don't know. You never know. But he's obviously figured it out. Again, we're 4 games in. 4 games, he looked pretty damn good.
Historic.
Really damn good.
Yeah.
But you never know until they're out there. Even if a guy's ready in the second year, you never know. And you need to have patience. And I know that's a really hard thing to have from owners and fan bases and coaches because it's a what have you done for me lately league and a snap knee-jerk reaction league. You guys do it every Monday.
Who?
Overreaction Monday. And that's part of it because you're part of it, and it's not a bad thing. It's just the way our league is. But we need to have a little patience with these quarterbacks. If you have a guy, now let's say this in closing. If you have a guy who you know is going to be a long-time, decade-long starter, that's who you believe he is, then you might have to go through some growing pains the first couple of years. You might. Or you might sit him and know when he comes in, he's going to be a decade-long starter. You got a situation in place you think can be a bridge the gap. For us in Green Bay, it wasn't bridging the gap. It was a guy we think we'd win a championship with, obviously. And then, all right, then let him go for a decade. I went a little longer than that. With Jordan, he didn't. It wasn't a bridge the gap. It was me playing at a high level. And then when it was time for his time, you think he's going to be a 10-plus year starter. You know, with these young guys, if you're playing him right away and you think he's a 10-plus year starter in the league, that's his ceiling. Then you got to go through the growing pains without overreacting every single game. Win, crown him, lose, get rid of him. That's just not sustainable in this league. It's not sustainable in business either. And we are a business. So the business should be what is in the best interest of the business moving forward in a positive direction. And that is not overreacting. That's hiring the right guys, trusting them to do their job, and then letting them do their job.
I appreciate that answer on the entirety of the NFL right there. And we'll get better to not be a part of the problem. Right, boys?
I'm not pointing the finger. You guys are a part of the conversation.
Yeah,
that's the conversation.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. But whenever you think you start laying out some of those things about patience and transition and stuff like that, it's like those first couple years might be bad, but it doesn't lead to a decade of being terrible.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I think fans are tough to be like, oh, so we're just punting on this year? This year is just a bad year? It's like, might need this year to be a bad year so that the next 10 to 15, we're not saying the same.
Well, here's another point to that. Les Snead in L.A., what did he do? He mortgaged his draft capital for players he thought could help him win a championship, knowing there might be a couple thin years where we're going to have to figure some things out, and Matt's going to have to play great, and Sean's going to have to call great games, and we're going to have to win some games with some young guys because we mortgaged draft capital to win a championship. And I would call on Rams fans, would you rather trade 4 good years of, we got close, for 1 year winning a championship and 3 years where you're kind of struggling just to be in the playoff hunt? Good question.
That is a good, especially at home.
I think we all know what the answer is.
Give me the chip.
Yeah,
BC, what is the answer?
The championship every single
championship.
time. Yeah.
Every single time, right?
Yeah.
That's I salute Les for that, and I know him a little bit. But he went all in on those guys, and they won a championship. And now they have a ring that they can wear whenever they want that says world fucking champion.
At home, too. I mean, that's a whole nother... The business conversation about 2 teams in L.A., Super Bowl in L.A., winning the Super Bowl that is...
I mean, do you think Stan Kroenke's mad that he's got another ring on his finger?
That guy wins a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, Avalanche, they won.
I mean, he even won that lawsuit with St. Louis, didn't he, inevitably?
Yep. Yeah. Uh-huh.
They were suing him big time.
And he's got a great winery in Napa, too.
Stan, you dog.
Okay.
You salty dog.
Aaron, we appreciate the hell out of you, man, for joining us on this Tuesday. Obviously, for the last 5 years, you've answered the bell every Tuesday, even after losses, hard losses. You've come in here, you've talked, you've kind of, let us in on what your mindset is as the season goes. And I think ultimately Jets fans are going to be thankful that you did as such. I know it's not as fun after a loss, but we appreciate the hell out of your time.
Not as fun, but good day, mates.
Spot of tea. You are going to have a spot of tea, you son of a bitch. Good luck over there, and safe travels to London. We appreciate you.
Book club next week.
Fingerprints of the gods.
That's right.
Book it.
We got a 900-pager for you.
Yep. Need it.
And then we're going to have another one. Is it going to be weekly, bi-weekly?
We'll start with one, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, a book is coming.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, buddy.
Aaron.